And you know, and I've been working with Hoagland, and I know that NASA is hiding literally tons and tons of stuff, and they don't want us to know. And we're treading into dangerous area here, because this is why the cuneiform tablets were stolen from the Baghdad Museum. This is why the Waddell's work showing that all of civilizations, every civilization on Earth was started by the Aryans, is completely suppressed. Not because someone is ashamed or something. It's the Aryans don't want you to know what's going on. They don't want you to know. They're the Great White Brotherhood. Once you understand this, all of the Agartha myths and all of the weird things that have been going on suddenly fall into place. Everything succinctly goes down into the jigsaw puzzle, and you can see that this is what's going on. And I want to tell you that one of the films that Kubrick was going to make was called The Aryan Papers. And it's a very interesting, the book is very interesting, and it's about this. It's about a person in a concentration camp, a Jewish guy, who's contemplating the Aryans, who they are. And this film didn't get made because Kubrick said that Spielberg made Schindler's List, and he thought it was too close to Schindler's List. Maybe that's true, maybe not. I don't know. But this all plays together. Kubrick knows this, and I think most of them know it. And it's interesting, because if you look at David Flynn's work, you can see that all of the places that the Aryans first grabbed around the Mediterranean before they moved to India, the biggest place was called Sidon, or Sidonia. And it was all in Iraq, Syria, Lebanon area, and you can see that they're naming their areas on Mars and on Earth by concurrent names even. And, you know, this is all part of their culture, of which they don't want you to find out about.
Right, right. So now in your interview, I want to be clear that you stress that there are two factions, so to speak. There's the caretakers or custodial race, and then there's sort of the underground, the true underground complex of this order that you're referring to. Yep. And then you talked about, of course, the custodial race as being what we would commonly know as the New World Order or the elite. Is that correct?
That's right. They're the people that are the open managers, and right. They have been promised seats on the Ark or in the underground bases or somewhere at the end of time. This is also where the rapture myth comes from. The rapture myth, as far as we can tell, comes from around 1840 or so. Mm-hmm. And basically the rapture says that, you know, right before the end of time, all the true believers are going to be scooped up and taken to heaven, right?
Right.
This is where that comes from. It leaked out from them. It's one of their promises that they make, that you'll be scooped up and taken out of here. And I don't think that happened. I think they're leaving right now. I think they're not sure if 2012 isn't the end, that they may have gotten their figures wrong. No, that was a good one. And the original figures are 2442, right, which is exactly 666 years after 1776, which was the founding year of the Illuminati. And so they have these time markers, which are based on hyperdimensional math, which is going to be all carefully described in the upcoming film Sacred Geometry of Time by Robert Lawler, which will be an absolute mind-blowing film about the Aryans and their hyperdimensional math and what they know and who they are. And so they broke the rules, and that's why the Earth can't go into a golden age, because the Aryans keep bringing back the same seeds, the same genetic material. They go leave with it all. It's why they did the Genome Project now. It's why the seed bank is going. It's all part of their little plan to take as much genetic and information, you know, as safely put it somewhere, and then after the Earth turns over, as the Inca call it, then they come back and they replant. And what this does is it's destroying Sophia, the Earth Mother, because she she wants to have new shots at consciousness, and they're not letting it happen because they're trying to preserve their own, whatever they are, their own culture. And I know this all sounds incredibly fantastic, but if I'm going to make a bet with the world that in 3 or 4 years, this is going to be one of the key narratives in the public eye.
So it's either 2112 or 2442, right? I mean, these are
right. 2442 is the number that they thought would happen, which is why they started their final push in 1776, because it was 666 years before their end date. So like an alarm bell goes off, and right. so the Industrial Revolution starts. Okay. And immediately, all financed by the Rothschilds and all these bankers who are all being run by secret princes. Rothschild was just a money changer, and I forget his name, Prince Hess. I think his name was Hess. Prince Hess cuts a deal with Rothschild. All of a sudden, Rothschild's like the major banker of Germany in like 2 years. Okay, this is all part of the thing, and Hitler, and by the way, the Aryans don't call themselves Aryans. That's the slang that we call them. They call themselves the Vril, and there's myths that go back so far into so many cultures about this group of people that lives underground with chalk white skin and freakish looking, and this is where the vampire myths come from, the chalk white people that can only come out at night because they can't come out in the daytime. The sun fries them, ruins them, it destroys them. They can't take it. They have no pigment left in their skin. And this is where the Indian myths of the blue gods and goddesses come from, because if you catch them in the right light, their skin is so diaphanous that you can see through it. You can see the capillary systems, and they look blue. And yeah. This is where all this comes from. And they don't want, nobody wants any of this out, which is why the cuneiform tablets have been stolen, why they don't want anybody to put together the myth and figure it out. And so they've been lying to us, and it's incredible, and there's no doubt about it. And what I'm telling you, you may think that I'm crazy, and that's your own opinion, and maybe I am, but I'm telling you that if you take the time to look into this and read the books, read From the Ashes of Angels by Andrew Collins, and look at the descriptions of the children of the Nephilim, the white skin and the blue eyes and tell me, when you pick 100 different stories from 100 different cultures, this is what the fairies are. This is what the elves are in Tolkien. Tolkien had access to the medieval libraries at Oxford, and only he could read them. Only he could read the languages, and he got in there and he found out that the elves were leaving and going to the west. Mars is the planet of the west in ancient lore, and the elves were leaving. They were leaving, and who were they? They were tall. They were blonde-haired, and almost like white, like light, and they had great magical powers, and they left a seed behind. It was Aragorn, who was part elf, and he would be the leader of the men. And that's what the white people were in these myths. This is where the myths of the demigods, the children of sex between gods and mortal women, comes from Jesus. The same story. It's a rebounding myth. It's even in this movie that's out right now, Percy and whatever it is. We saw it. And it's about Perseus, the son of Perseus.
Clash of the Titans.
Yeah, and it's the entire movie is about these demigods which were born of the Aryans and Earth women, and this is what it's all about. That's why they're called fairies, because the fairy is white. It means white-skinned. It's fair, and they found women fair, as it says in Genesis. So this is what's going on, and whether they let this myth get out all the way or not. I decided I'm going to say it, even though I've been hanging on to this for 10 years now without saying anything, hoping that someone else would come forth with it. I finally had to say enough's enough when I saw Joseph Skipper's work and realized that that they're building huge colonies on Mars.
Interesting.